Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? Drew Danger back on the scene. Definitely wanted to put out another video to give some thought to and just different ideas. And I was thinking as I was talking to um, my physical therapist, who's a big Rocky Balboa fan. And I had not done a video about Rocky. Now, I used a Rocky picture to talk about inspiration, but I had not talked about Rocky himself. So I thought I would talk about that and discuss him a little bit. And festive as usual, my Rocky shirt representing my Rocky hat. Check it out. Okay, so that's what I'm wearing today, and let's get into the topic of the video today, which is the Rocky Balboa story. So, as you guys know, Rocky Balboa, whether if you're familiar with Creed or the original movies, is one of the biggest sensations around the world. I mean, Sylvester Stallone changed the game. And let me start by saying it's not that he just changed the game for film, he changed the game for writers, directors, people that just have story concepts. I mean, he and acting in general, he put it out there because if you guys don't know the story, when he was doing movies, he was rejected by everybody. He had done Lords of the Flatbush, um, and he had played extra parts and things, but he had never really taken off and become anything. And he was out there trying to discover um, what talent he had because he felt like he had something that he could really bring to the table. And he said that he saw one Muhammad Ali boxing match, Chuck Webner match, as where they were fighting each other, and it kind of inspired him. As of course, inspiration from Rocky Marciano, and he kind of put all of that together, his love for boxing. And he said, like a man possessed, he had darkened uh, his apartment and he had started writing. And in no time flat, he had put together the Rocky script. Um, and he had gone down to the studio and he had tried out for some parts. And they said, no, you're not really who we're looking for. And he said, but I have been doing some writing. And they said, really, some writing? They said, well, we'd like to see it. They said, I've got this story about a boxer. I said, really? So he started to share with them, and he showed it to them, and they said, um, I can't remember the first dollar amount. I believe it was 10,000. And he said, no, it's not really about the money. It's that I have to play this part to make this movie work. And I have to have the amount I think it would take, but really I have to be the lead guy. And I said, no, 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 no. You can't be. They were looking at Ryan O'Neal. They were looking at a couple people. So he left, and they continuously called him, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 60,000. It got up as far as, I believe it was 200,000 was the ending of it. And then they said, okay, you can play the part, give you 200,000, but you got to go in it with us. If this is a success, you're going down with the ship. And he said, absolutely. So he did the movie, played the part, and he told an underdog story, which we've heard underdog stories, but nothing has been quite like Rocky. The underdog story in Rocky is a very special one that connects with people around the world. Whether if you live in Philadelphia, the home of Rocky, or you live where I'm originally from, California, we all know Rocky. We all share and love his story and are inspired by him. and are motivated by him to go forward and seize what you want in life, no matter where you are. Because see, here's the thing about Rocky that's really special. Rocky was seen as a street urchin, loser, not going anywhere, no reading, no talent. They thought he was a punchy, dumb kind of guy that, wasn't going to have anything, wasn't going to go anywhere, and really couldn't be much more in life than what he already was. So whatever he's got, he's just blessed because that guy has no talent. That's the way he was looked at. The only person that told him that he had any talent was Mickey, um, Mickey Goldmill, who trains Rocky. Mickey told him, because there's the scene where he says, "You don't want to know," and Rocky says, "No, I want to know." He's like, "You don't want to know what I think about you." He's like, "No, I want to know." So finally, Mickey says, "Okay." He says, "You have the talent to be a great fighter and to really do something here. But instead, you end up leg breaking and doing street work for the Italian mob." And he just tells him, he's like, "And I think that's a waste of your time because you really have some talent." And he's like, "Well, it's a living, yeah, but you could do much more." So Mickey, even though he's rough with him, he believes that he has the potential to do it. The second was his girlfriend's soon-to-be wife, Adrian. Once that relationship starts, she starts to see what's inside Rocky. And on top of that, she starts to see what's inside of herself. And that's the important thing. She sees the potential that exists in her and that exists in him. There's this scene in the original Rocky where Paulie is trying to put down everybody and talk bad, which is Adrian's brother and Rocky's best friend. And she tells Paulie that you made me feel like I'm a loser and I wasn't going to go anywhere, and I'm not a loser and I have something to offer. And that's when you realize, like, Rocky inspires all these characters in these movies, whether if they admit it or not. And even with Apollo Creed, when he fights Apollo Creed, Apollo's inspired because he's not encountered an opponent that is in the ring with him, that is challenging him, that is calling him out, that is so close to beating him. He's never encountered that because Apollo was such a great champion. He went in there, he did his thing, he knocked out people quick, so quick that people just lost interest. Oh yeah, he won again. Okay. See, he didn't have the respect of the people because they feel like he didn't really go out and challenge himself because things just came easy to him, when it came to boxing. Once he was the man, he took over. There was no struggle, there was no fight left in him. That's what the people thought, until Rocky Balboa showed up. And when Rocky was in the ring with him, he knew he had met that guy that we all look for. When people tell you, there's always somebody better, there's always somebody that can really challenge you, there's always someone else. And when people say that, that was Rocky Balboa. Rocky was that. And that's what's interesting about the story, because Rocky was considered to be a nobody. But deep inside him, that edge, that eye of the tiger, existed inside of him. And it came out in that ring. And no matter what Apollo threw at him, Rocky kept coming. That's what was said in Rocky 2. when the rematch happened was Duke, Tommy, um, which is Apollo's trainer. Duke is telling him, he's like, I think we need to look at somebody else, not that Balboa guy again. And he said, no, 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 I have to, because what ended up happening, he's like, you don't understand. That guy is bad news because he kept coming. And it wasn't that he was so much bad news. It was the fact that he was bad news because he could beat Apollo. And Duke could see it. That's the thing. Duke could see that he was probably going to lose the heavyweight title to Rocky. And he knew it. And that's why he told him, he said, we got to look at other people, because that guy, he just kept coming. You couldn't stop him. He was just cast iron jaw. He just kept coming. So the thing about Rocky is, when it gets to just outside of the movies and the popular of Sylvester Stallone, the popular trend center that Sylvester Stallone is, I'm sorry guys, my mind's a little fogged up. The popular trend center that Sylvester Stallone is, and how he inspires people, outside of that, you get down to just the character of Rocky, and who Sylvester Stallone is, because Sylvester Stallone had to climb and snarl and dig deep to become what he's become. And to this day, he's still remembered, and he's still one of the most remembered people on this planet, because he worked hard to get there. There's something about Sylvester Stallone, and not just Sylvester Stallone, but there's something about the characters he plays, and not to mention the other action stars of the heyday. There's something about Sylvester Stallone. There's something about Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's something about Jean-Claude Van Damme. There's something about Dolph Lundgren. There's something about all these wonderful action stars that I grew up looking up to and wanting to be, and always enjoyed watching. There's something about them. There's a work ethic. They're workhorses. They're not normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill actors or people. They are really possessed and driven to squeeze life by its throat and get what they want out of it. They're those type of people. And that's what's amazing about these guys. We're talking about guys that are working out constantly, staying in good shape, eating right, having a crazy work schedule, doing all sorts of stuff, left and right, and not slowing down. And they know their potential. And all of these guys, they all came from nowhere. Van Damme was a point system fighter who did Shotokan, and he had that, and he owned a couple gyms, and he did well for himself with that, but he felt like, I really want to get into this acting game. So when he came to America, he had nothing. The dude had nothing. No prospects for an apartment, not anything. He had to climb from the bottom to get where he is, until he did No Retreat, No Surrender. But it was when he hooked up with Canon Films and they did Bloodsport, that's what really kind of set things in motion for Van Damme to kick off his whole career. And Arnold came here from Austria, and didn't know how to speak English. He just knew how to say his name, and that was about it. But look what all he accomplished. He became one of the top paid actors of all time, top bodybuilder of all time. No matter who comes around, Arnold will always have that title. Okay? The next thing, became governor of California. A foreigner became governor of a United States state. Need I say any more? That's huge. That's huge. And all three of those guys, they all have statues in their home. Sylvester Stallone has one in Philadelphia for Rocky. and Arnold has one in Austria where he's from. I think he has a couple out there, and then Van Damme has one of him doing the splits in Belgium. Um, so it's pretty interesting just to see how these guys inspire us. So anyway, Sylvester is really the poster person for success. Okay, he's one of those guys that is definitely when you think of success, you see his picture because the guy is still pushing. I watch his workout. I see where he's at, where his drive is, where his focus is. It's amazing. And what I'm going to say to everybody is this: Sylvester Stallone is in his 70s, guys. Okay, and he's still pushing. Here's the thing that I would ask you: are you pushing? Okay, are you going out there? Are you making things happen? Are you living the dreams that you want to live? Okay, like me personally, right now, as I've shared with you guys, I'm going through some sickness with multiple sclerosis and things like that. So my life changed in November overnight. So right now, I'm trying to get my body, my mind, and figure out what I can and can't do. Um, and I'm going through, I'm seriously, guys, a lot of changes, a lot of things going on that I have to make decisions on, things I have to consider, things that are changed and I can't fix or go around in a different way. That's what I'm dealing with right now. But the one thing that I know is no matter what, I still have to stay focused and driven and work hard every day. Every day I'm, on the phone trying to improve my health just about. I'm figuring out different things, how to improve my life for myself and my family. I stay on the grind. There's not a day I don't stay on the grind that I'm not thinking about things, that I'm not trying to figure out how to make my dreams come true. Because, my biggest dream is I want to be successful in inspirational talk, connecting with people. I really want to do that. And the second big thing is I want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast one day. It's a huge thing I wanted to do. I want to do. And I will make that goal because I'm driven to make it happen. And people were like, well, that's this, that's that. Yeah, but see, I'm driven. Driven, okay? People might say, hey, you can't be as big a star as Robert Redford or whatever. But if you're driven, your drive will get you somewhere. Will get you to somebody's door if you're that focused. I got a pitch for Joe Rogan and everything when I meet him one day. And I plan on going to like one of his comedy shows and maybe he'll have a meet and greet and I've got my pitch like ready to go and I'm gonna go for it. And you know what? If I don't succeed in that moment, I know that what I say will get him thinking. And maybe later there'll be an opportunity for me. And even if that doesn't happen, I'm going to keep going and keep trying because it's my dream. That's what we have to learn from Mr. Balboa, from Mr. Stallone, is no matter how many doors shut in his face, he always went back and kept going. And if he had to go back and find another way, move from acting to writing a script, that's what he did. He works like a man possessed. And we got to work like people possessed to get what we want out of life. We can't sit on our hands. Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. One of his big quotes is, you cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. Okay? Which means you got to have your hands out. You got to get ready for it. Things are coming at you fast. You got to be ready to duck and dodge and catch it. So go out there. Make stuff happen. Okay? Don't let another day go by without putting some work ethic, figuring some things out, changing things. If you want to lose weight, well, hey, start figuring out your body type and figuring out the things that will help you lose weight the fastest and the exercise needed to improve that. You know, you can do things like that. If you want to, change your job, if you want to go to school and become a doctor, if you want to try things you've never tried, if you want to ask that person out on a date, why not? Ask them. Learn the best ways on how to talk to people about dating and then try it out. If you succeed the first time, hey, cool. But it might take a couple tries. And that person may not be right for you, but you cannot quit. That's what I'm saying. You cannot lay down and die and just say, okay, this is it. Again, on my situation, I pointed out like this. Yes, things have changed. Yes, things are not going to be the same. And yes, I'm stuck with this for life unless they create a cure for multiple sclerosis. But I'm not throwing up my hands. I'm doing whatever I need to be necessary. Now, there's some things that I have to change. But I'm not giving up on life. I just got to do things differently. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I think that all people need to understand that concept better than anything else, because that's what gets you through it. As Sylvester Stallone said in Rocky Balboa, he put it in the best way, which is, let me tell you something. The world ain't all rainbows and sunshine. It is a mean, dirty, nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees if you let it. You, me, anybody's not going to hit as hard as life hits. But it's not how hard you can get hit. It's how hard you can keep moving forward. If you could take the hits and keep moving forward. Now, if you know what you're worth, go out there and get what you're worth. But you can't point fingers at people saying, I couldn't do this, or I couldn't do that, or I couldn't be anywhere. Cowards do that. And you're better than that. That's what we have to remember. No matter what happens in our life, and no matter how beat down we can get, no matter how bleak things look, you got to get up and you got to change. And this isn't a motivational talk. This is, I call it inspirational talk. I'm coming from the heart. I'm coming from the hip. I'm coming from the truth. You got to be ready. You can't just lay down and forget the goals and the things that you want to do. This is really important, guys. We have lost our way in society right now. Look at a lot of the young people and what's going on in the world and things like that. We've just lost our ways. We're not going out there being the best versions of ourselves. We're not trying to help the future to be better. We're just wrapped up in ourselves and self-loathing and things of that nature. So I would say, jump up, move forward, get inspired. If you haven't seen any of the Rocky films, I suggest you pick them up. Get inspired. Not just with Rocky, but watch several of Stallone's movies. They'll inspire you. Over the Top is inspiring. Great film. Check it out. Let it see. Check it out. View it. Get inspired by it. Okay? Watch Bloodsport. Great film. It's inspiring. It's just a Van Damme movie. Watch it. Check it out. And even the stuff that's not directly an inspirational movie, it's inspiring because these guys are out there making multi-million-dollar movies and playing these parts that came from nowhere with no talents, that they knew that they had, ability to be that type of actor. They thought, well, maybe I'll do a couple movies. But when you watch those movies, you'll see things just come out of them, and they're able to do these movies, and they're able to carry these parts and to connect and resonate with people. And I think that that's important that we always look at that. That's what's made all these guys timeless. It's funny, you go back 10 years or something like that, who was the hot actor or the hot up and coming action guy? Most of those dudes aren't even around, and they don't really connect with people in that way like the older generation stars did. When you go back to Clint Eastwood or John Wayne or, you know, my top hero, Bruce Lee, you don't see anybody to that level, minus maybe The Rock to some level. I guess you could say maybe he's one of them that could be seen as that. But you don't see a lot of them that are really considered to be on the same level as those guys. And that's interesting because those guys really grinded hard and they really put something special on this planet that they'll always be remembered even after they're gone and years go by. They'll always be inspiring people. So I would tell you guys right now, today, start writing down and looking at the things you want to accomplish and the things you want to be and the things you want to do, and start looking into how to get there. Start making those changes like now. Don't wait till it's too late. And it's not going to come overnight. Don't quote me on that one. It's not coming overnight. It's going to be some work. But I'm just saying, start doing it. Start taking those steps today, now. And hopefully they'll improve your life and your family's life. And you'll look back and say, hey, life is awesome. I got to accomplish the goals that I want to. And that's the main thing I wanted to share with you guys today, on the Rocky Balboa story. So let's all get inspired like Rocky. Let's run those library steps. Let's go out and dig deep and pull out potential and things we didn't know that existed inside of us. Let's see what we're made out of. Let's go the distance. Let's try something. Okay? Guys, be awesome. There'll be more videos yet to come. Please subscribe and let me know what videos you guys want to see and what topics you guys want to talk about, because I love hearing that stuff. And people that have reached out to me, I've done videos on those subjects. It's always the next video. Make sure that I do that. So I'm very good about that. I try to do that for you guys. All right? All right. You guys have a great week. Go the distance. Drew Danger out. And remember, take the example of the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa. Have a good week, guys.